Good afternoon. It's a misty, cooler, gray day, and I'm loving it. I didn't realize how totally exhausted I was. Totally exhausted. The dogs are all riled up right now. Not sure why, but we're going to run a couple of errands here pretty soon in the truck, and they love going in the truck. But I want to share with you just this sensation. Oh, my toe is terrible again. But it wasn't horrific last night, in the night, to the point where I felt like I had to go to ER because I needed rest. I didn't want to drive when I was so exhausted. But so I'm just going to try to I'm going to try to soak it with something that a friend said really helped her when she had a pedicure one time and had an infected toe from that. So I can't imagine having a pedicure, the cost, and the sitting. It's the sitting. you know, I have such odd red flags just because of my back situation. For 41 years, my life has been so altered that I'm abnormal. But anyway, so I'm going to try to figure a way to soak my foot on the bed while I'm on the bed laying down. So good luck that I don't spill it all over. But anyway, I keep getting these images of people coming to me, not all the time, but every now and then, like a waking vision, but just different ones. Will pop in now and then, and they're not awful. It's not strange. I had that in the hospital, and I've looked up, the post-septic syndrome symptoms, and if you can have visions or different things, but it calls them hallucinations, of course. And some places it says visions, but it are nightmares. And it's not like that. And I'm just trying to incorporate it into my life, into praying, because I think I am feeling more and more, especially lately, and I'm noticing that God is working out my life. He's ordering it all, it just flows. And I can tell it's God who just lays things out, one thing after another. It just happened for my good. For my good, even though it might be uncomfortable or, uh, just like this weather, It just, and yeah, I didn't quite finish with the stonework last night. I was so close, but I pushed it. I have just one row of 1 inch. I have them cut. They might be cut a little too narrow, but we'll see. To fit up along the top, the very top, had half size of stone to go up there. And I have a little teeny row, maybe of a third size, maybe 2/3 of an inch, or 3/4 an inch. So about a third the size of a regular stone, or even less, maybe half-inch size, to go along underneath the lowest window, and a row I'm going to try to fit with the glue between the windows. So if the windows need to be replaced, those can hopefully come out without too much of a mess of the mortar, and will adhere, I think, better than the mortar would to plastic. So, but it's going to be cold for the next 3 days. I might try it Monday if it's close enough weather-wise. But tomorrow we'd have rain again and cooler. And we had 2 hours at separate times, an hour each today. I could have, and I thought, oh, I should push myself to get, but no. I'm going to have to use a little foot plastic step stool to get up on to get that top row. And I need to be in peak condition for balance and everything else. And I am sick with pain, my spine, my toe hurting just on top of it. And my bed sore still isn't healed after, what has it been, 4 months now? So that flares, I'm just worn out. So have to take it easy. But I'm grateful. See, it's like God knows He's helping me. He's working with me. But I want to share this dream And if any of you are inclined or have better insights by far than me, which I think you will, sometimes it's hard for us to figure out our own, or for me to do it. And I don't know. It wasn't super complex, but it stood out to me, and I'm not dreaming much often that I remember. This really was one to remember. I was in some kind of a huge, like a campus of buildings, and in this large building with lots of people, but the building went into practically like where people lived, and village, and little hallways that became like little streets. It was a community within the facade of this huge building, or more than one attached, but it was like a world of its own. And I lived there. I was in there interacting and doing this and that, and yet I was supposed to leave. And I knew it, but I would, and this big bus came. In fact, I didn't realize it at the time, but there was more than one bus. There were like two or three, maybe even more than that, but I saw definitely two, and I think another one beyond the second one. But they came, and the one big bus at first, this man gets off, and he's in a uniform. Very nice man, but an official type uniform, not a bus driver uniform, more authority. And he told me, it's time, you need to get on. And I said, I just got to do a couple more things. I've got to do, just wait, I won't be long. Just got a little bit more to do. And then I would go back into this complex, and there would be people there, and I don't know if it was my mother, if my parents were there, or are other people who are on the other side now. I don't know. I sort of feel like they were, and others who I knew when they were on earth, but yet it didn't, it was, I don't know. I mean, it seemed like that. And so then I went out, after I did a couple more things, and the man was there, but he was stepping up in. He says, you're too late. I told you we had to leave. And I said, oh, no, I'm ready now, I'm ready. And he was off a distance, though. And then that's when I saw this other bus behind, and they were already pulling out. He got on, and they left. And I was like, no, I'm supposed to be on that bus. And I knew it, and I knew it before, but I kept saying, no, I have to just do one or two more things. And off I'd go. So I missed, and that was it. But I felt tremendous remorse and sort of a panic of like, oh my, my goodness, because I was supposed to be on that go. And I hadn't. I felt like I'd done something really, really wrong. A big mistake. And so, of course, immediately I can look at the metaphor and the reality of what that symbolizes of I do that. But with God, I've been doing it. Well, I'm good, and I set my own deadline, even with the daughter. I'm going to wait till December. Give me till December, even Christmas, to finish. I would really want to finish. Let's see what I can get done. Let's just see if I can get more done. And I definitely wanted to get the stonework done. I was going to ask Mike to do it, hire him to do it. I am so thankful I didn't. It would have been so expensive. The time it took, it's been 7 weeks I've been working on that, with a few days out. Probably, I'd say 5.5 weeks at least, of daily. Only like 3 to 4 hours. I can't work long. But even some days I could have worked longer. I could have pushed more. But the weather wasn't warm enough. I had to go like at 3 in the afternoon until 6, 3 hours. Some days I could only do 2 because I wasn't feeling well or was sealing stones inside and had to wait and then go out after I got done with that. Or like one day I had a medical appointment. I took 3 days out, and it was the right choice. It's a choice of love to watch my daughter play in those tournaments. And they were the very best days of all, of course, but God was, He blessed me for that. And it hasn't always been. This was, a blessing that my daughter wanted me to come and appreciated my being there. And even, I think it was the second day, I wore the bright orange sweater. So she said, "Oh, you look so nice today," And she doesn't usually say. But my daughter, like most younger people, are into the trends. And of course, she wants her mother to look nice. And she started introducing me all around. And she had the day before too, but it hasn't been, we've been through our rough spots with this daughter also. I have been. And thankfully it's moved beyond that. I think my nearly dying, I don't know, that helped. That helped. But no, I think it turned around about a year ago or more. Whether she was going through an individuating out or something, and I remember at one time telling her, I'm not the enemy. I'm not the enemy. So it's been good, good relationship since. And granted, it's in a sector, but I'm in a sector. I'm not normal. Physically, I'm abnormal from her world, and spiritually, I'm an offbeat. And so, but yeah, so that was lovely, and she appreciated it that I was there, and I liked being there. It was costly physically, pain wise, but not as bad as it should have been. So I know God was blessing me. Doing things for love. Love overcomes a lot of pain. It overcomes inner pain. So that's the importance of forgiving other people, forgiving ourselves, but also doing things out of love. And we can do everything out of love as we learn love. But this dream, I have been asking God, well, make it more clear to me if I'm to do this trade now or soon. Or I even said when I finish this stonework, should I stop? And not even do grouting or finish the tile work up in the upstairs bathroom. I just have part of a backsplash to put up. It'd be very easy, but I did a stupid thing. I was rusty when I started doing that tile work I had done, and it's a herringbone design, mosaic. And I didn't cut straight across with the tile saw. So I have these little jagged edges, so I'm going to have to glue in these little pieces to get it even. Or maybe just cut the next strip straight. Since I have my nice pro saw now, I can do more fine-tuned cutting now. It's not the saw I'm using for these stones, because that just beats up a saw. Those stones have really makes a mess of it. But I've got a nice blade, a really nice saw that it's more professional to use for detail work. That it isn't cutting bricks or stones. You can use it for that, but I have a nice blade on it, so I'll do my finished tile cutting with that. But I guess just keep going. Or I don't know. Here's the toe flared up again, and of all things, Lovey somehow stepped on it yesterday morning. Oh my. So, yes, Lovey, you did. You didn't mean to. It was an accident. But that was the night before was when I was up with it just shrieking in pain. I wasn't shrieking, the toe was. It was a shrieking type pain. horrible pain with it. And then I thought, well, I should go to ER. I had one more day of antibiotics, but obviously the cephalexin, Keflex, has not done it. But I'm going to try this soaking and see if that helps to get through until I want to go when it's not going to be busy and when I'm not exhausted. So 4 in the morning maybe might be good if I have trouble with it tonight or tomorrow night. Or I would go to a instant care, whatever they're called, the urgent care, but usually have PAs, and I feel like I need like a doctor who will know about it, what to do, because of my septic shock propensity for infections that can get really serious in a hurry. So don't want to have a nurse practitioner, although they can be excellent too. I just going to have more precaution. I think they should remove the nail, which the ER would do that. They would have to anesthetize my toe, I think, to take it off, because it's a nasty nail though, and it got icky under it. So I think that's part of the problem. They need to get it out and flush it. But I'm going to try soaking. Maybe it'll come off or something. But yeah, so I'm just wondering about that dream. I'm not sure my parents were there and others from the other side, like it was heaven or something. It didn't. It was like another world that I lived in this place. It was like a facility, a huge, at least the facade was this enormous building, and then it was like a campus back in there. Go in, and it was just turned into the world. And I lived there, and I was doing things. And I forget what it was that I thought was so urgent. It wasn't anything huge, but at the time it seemed urgent that I kept doing it, that I needed to finish just a couple more things, I said. So I think it's the analogy God is showing me that I do this, that I keep putting off, or I keep saying I have this or that to do first. And for one thing, that's not for me to call the shots and say when I'm going to get on the bus, or to expect them to wait, God to wait, or to set my own deadline even. I need to ask God again, if I'm allowed to continue doing the manual labor here. Tell me when, if you have a deadline for me. Or just do it. And let the daughter hire people to finish. I just, I've been so broke, so low income for so many years that it's hard for me to think. And then I've also had people come and do terrible work, and overcharge. So I don't want that. And it's, well, obviously I haven't found anyone. I found an electrician who's good. He's expensive, but he's good. And he does give me breaks now and then. Well, he's been actually quite reasonable and kind and honest. So that's a lot. That right there is worth it. But he's good. The first electrician was terrible. So I had to hire this other one to clean up his mess. And one thing he couldn't even correct. It was just not figurable what he did. And so we have a little bit odd light switch situation in the kitchen, as far as can't turn on one light from a logical location, but you can turn it on at least. So. And my doorbell won't work for some reason. The wiring to it won't. Who knows why, but that happened with the first guy. So I have to have a Ring doorbell there, which is okay. But yeah, so I just don't know about that dream. And if I need to stop and focus on my spiritual life. And that's what I'm thinking, maybe, that I'm keep putting off what God wants of me. Does that seem like that's what the message of the dream is? That I'm keep wanting to do one more thing. Maybe before God will come take me with him, Jesus will come for me. Jesus did tell me to be strong and to wait. But when God wants me, I need to do what he wants. I need to obey. I shouldn't keep maybe trying to do one more thing. I don't know. It's a different kind of a dream that isn't. See, here I am saying it's not obvious. Maybe it is to you guys. So, help me out if you have insights on that dream. Like I say, I don't have them often anymore. But I know God will help me out. I just need to really listen and I guess just go slowly until I get some ideas from you guys, if you will, please. And pray. Pray that I discern this dream properly and have the courage to do what's necessary, what God wants of me. And I know God wants what's best for me and what's good for me. It's not necessarily to stay alive a long time, but it's the quality of what I do with the life he does have me here. And I know I've been feeling that it needs to be meaningful for God and for others, to draw closer and closer to God and to love more, learn to love more. And I think slow it down a little bit with the manual labor, or stop it, Return to the reading and the writing and the sharing, of which I have been trying to do, of how God interacts in our daily lives and the ways in which he looks out for us and guides us, provides for us in so many ways, looks out for us in details of everyday life. He works things out for us to our good and our benefit. And then we in turn can love and look out for each other in ways. Prayer. You guys, I know some of you were praying for my cousin and my aunt, and that's been a real blessing. Thank you for your prayers. And the help, like with this Psalm 42, this beautiful, beautiful icon shrine here that Koina made. Psalm 42, from that vision I had in the ICU, that was distinct from other visions. It was not a goofy septic shock kind of an aftermath then in ICU. It was definitely a vision of Psalm 42. And but if you could help me out, if you have any insights, and because I don't think it would be that much to get my little self out of here. I'd need help, obviously, but to trade. And I don't know how I would manage the tile. I've been dreading more pain, but love helps us transcend pain. That's what St. Luke told me. Teresa of Avila told me that way back in 1988. And it's so true, how it was a week ago. I had 3 days standing on concrete and sitting on metal benches. And for the love of God and for others, I was able to not have a body collapse, a pain siege from it. So I'm very grateful. Little Mercy here. I wish you could see. Let's see if you can see her. She just has been, look at her little white heart. She's been liking, I've been rubbing her neck like that. And oh, Lovey, see, Lovey wants to come right here. He wants to get rubbed. He's a big guy. Anyway, we're heading out. We're heading out in the truck. Gotta go to T-Mobile. Sparklight did a dirty on me. Really false, misled. And my bill has leaped up. They said I was getting a reduction. Well, that was just a month. They prorated it, as it turned out, and increased it by like 30%. So I'm switching. I can't, they don't even have their phone number on the bill. I'll have to look online, try to find a number to call from. Just dirty business. See there, now, pray for them, love them, forgive them. Because the woman on the phone in August told me, oh, we're giving you we're reducing the prices. I thought, what? Wow, good, because they were on the high side before. But, it's a lot of hassle. But for $5, but now it was 80, they had jumped it up to 85 from, when did I start at? 70, 6 years ago. And now it's 110 a month. But see, the 1 month I got this bill for $50 and it's $51 in September. And I thought, wow, this is a great reduction, because the woman told me, oh, you're getting we're reducing our prices. Well, she didn't say the whole truth. It was just going to a different billing system. So they were prorating at the low half for half a month, and then they gouge you with this huge increase. So, and I got it right before it was due, the day before it was due. So I haven't paid it, though, because I'm going to have them prorate it if I can ever get a hold of them and tell them, I switched. So done with that practice. Yeah, when we find injustice, pray, love, forgive them, but live our lives, get something better, get away from things that are wrong, if we can. And otherwise, keep praying and loving, forgiving, and try to keep above it. Because there's just so much in the world that, just like Gray Rocking sent the urgent prayer need yesterday. She had gotten gas at a, what's it called, Valera or something. It's a gas station in the Oklahoma Midwest, up western Midwest area. Midwest, I'm familiar with them. Big chain, and the gas was either watered or something put in it to make it go more, make it less gas and more something else that's cheaper. Dirty gas, it's called, dirty gas. And it had been done, I remember back in the 80s, it was a big thing. And it can really ruin your engine, but she ended up out on a huge multi-lane in thick traffic, bumper to bumper, amidst all these big semis. And her car was sputtering, and she felt God tell her, get to the next, she was going to pull over, nope, get to the next off-ramp. And she did, and she got into a little gas station, and a young kid called his dad, who knew a lot about cars, to help her. He came to this gas station where his son worked. This young boy worked, a kid, maybe a teen or 19 or something, and told her, and he flushed her engine for her. How kind is that? See, God was taking care of her for her good. We just have to listen and turn to God, because she did. She turned to God for help when she was out there. If her car had stopped in that heavy traffic, she would have been rear-ended, run over by one of these big semis. So freight trucks were out on the interstate. So Yeah. So, and they told her, well, they didn't want her to get gas where he, and it said, oh, that station where she got gas. They said, no, that's known to be tricky, dirty gas. So be on the lookout. But, we can't let it get us down. We can't let the world become too dark and too ugly for us to depress us. Keep upright and cheerful. And even like with my dream, it may be just simply God reminding me that I have this habit of saying what I'm going to do. Just going to do a couple more things than I do. I'm just going to try to finish this or finish that. And then I'll do this or that. Then I'll do what I think you want, No, that's not the way to treat God. I know better, but I've done it. The gall takes a lot of stupidity to be like that, doesn't it? A lot of gumption in the wrong sense. Not holy gumption, that's for sure. So nerve, raw and wrong nerve to act like that. So I must be very submissive, but I don't want to, do something that I'm not clear God wants. See, the devil can, but that it didn't have any sense of demonic in it. I've sort of discerned it. It's not, and I don't know, and I don't think that, I don't know, it didn't seem like I was visiting heaven. It wasn't heaven, that big area. So maybe the sense after I woke up of my parents being there or something was mistaken. Or maybe there's some element of them representing something. Comfort and people I trust and look to even now to help me. So, but it wasn't everybody was doing fine there. It's its own world. It was its own world. So maybe it was like heaven, a representation, but not, I didn't see anything specific when I was back in there. And I don't know exactly what I was doing, but a couple more things I wanted to finish, I said. Gotta finish. But I was supposed to be on that bus. So, and the man was kind but firm then. Oh, it's too late, too late. And how sorry I was. So, I don't know. Maybe it's just a lesson for me to make sure I need to ask God permission for things, everything I do. Say, God, what do you want me to do next? I've been sort of thinking about, oh, well, I should finish this bathroom or do the grouting, finish that upstairs first. And my young friend, John Patrick, he's my spiritual son up in another area, and he got married in March, and he wants to come see me and bring his bride. And I said, well, I want to be here. I know he'd like to stay here and show his bride. He's flown here a couple times in the last 6 years to help me with stuff, and until he got his RN, and then was so busy. He's a head director of a nursing home now, and he got most valued employee, voted that. He's a worker. He's a wonderful, holy young man. He's 32 now. He's just wonderful. Was he 32 or 31 last summer, August 29th? Ironically, the day of my death experience, the night, he's born 29th of July, so that was when I had my death experience and that second surgery that gave me the arachnoiditis. But, and that was before he was born. But anyway, he's and I said, oh, I want to at least get the upstairs bathroom done. Or one, I would like them to have this room to stay in, he and his wife, because I only have one twin bed upstairs. It's the only thing that's up there. So, and a little bookcase that I haven't put the books in, and I'm not going to now. But other than that, I need to see. There's just one more thing, but I'm going to ask God, because I said, or he can stay at my daughter's, or wait until, Christmas or after or spring to come. Because if she comes in here, then she wouldn't come in here till it was finished. So we'll see. I'm going to ask God. I'm going to start practicing that. It's a practice, because I can so easily take charge and call the shots. Say, this is what I'm going to do next. This is what No, I'm going to ask God, what do you want me to do next, and when? And what do you want me to... I've been praying this recently. What do you want me to talk about on these videos? And asking him to help me make them more of pertinence to other people. And I don't know if this is, probably not. But anyway, it's a dream that means something, and because it's standing out to me. It stood out, and I remembered it even. So that's something. To have one like that, and it was very symbolic. Even in it, I knew it was important. So it was going to teach me something or tell me something from God. All right. Have a beautiful evening. God bless you all in his real presence. Coming up, I've got a couple of saints that I'm very impressed with their lives, and something about them that just struck me as important also for all of us. So, two totally different ones. They were one day after another, and about their lives that was similar and very instructive and hopeful for us.